Welcome to today's video where I'm going to share with you some quick and easy make-ahead breakfast ideas, or you could even use them as snack ideas that of course are budget friendly and your whole family should like them. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, but let's jump into the first recipe of today. This first recipe is a baked chocolate chip oatmeal square, and it was actually inspired from Cliff Bars. If you are not new to my channel and have seen my recent grocery hauls, I've been purchasing them a lot lately because I really enjoy them for breakfast or during a run or before a run or after a run. I usually eat one every single day, and it's been on my to-do list to make my own variation. So I went on Pinterest, scrolled a couple recipes, and then decided to make a mock version based on what I had in my pantry, and I will make sure to type the recipe down in the description box below, but you could basically add any additives to this bar and it would be so good. This is a baked oatmeal bar, so you are going to bake it at 375 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes, let it cool completely, and then store them in your refrigerator. But they have the best texture. They are so good. They are sweetened with maple syrup. You can use a different sweetener if you'd like. It's completely up to you, but I highly recommend trying these. I made 8 bars this day. You would definitely make a bigger batch and even freeze them, but they refrigerate so well, they keep so well. And if you are allergic to bananas, because I had bananas on hand, you could definitely use apple, sweet potato, or even pumpkin, but you could definitely play around with the variations. I would say about a half a cup would equal 1 banana, so keep that in mind when you see the recipe down below. Another thing is I wanted to make sure that they were very moist before going into the oven, so I did add a couple splashes of nut milk and it was perfect. You kind of let it sit and let the oats blossom a little bit before you put them into the oven, so that way they come out with a nice chewy texture. But these bars were so good. You can make them as thin or as thick as you'd like. I wanted them a little bit thinner and was hoping for the perfect chewy texture, which they were, and I just love these so much. They won't replace the Cliff Bar for me, but they're a great alternative. Plus, this whole entire pan, which was 8 bars, was about the cost of 2 Cliff Bars. So not too bad of a trade. They're pretty inexpensive. They're about $1 a bar unless you buy a big box, and you can get them a lot cheaper. But I feel like for what I made homemade, it was a pretty good alternative. Once the bars were out of the oven and still warm, I did make sure to sprinkle some more chocolate chips on the top, and then I cut them out into 8 squares. As you can see, you probably can't tell by my hand, but they are pretty good sized bars. They're a little bit longer than a normal Cliff Bar and not quite as thick, so overall they're about the same size. And I just love these so much. Like I said, I popped them into my refrigerator, so when I pull them out, they're nice and chewy and cold, which I love cold oats. That's my favorite thing in the entire world. This next recipe is just chocolate chia seed pudding, which I have been obsessed with chia seed pudding recently. I love that I can take it on the go in a little recyclable glass container, and you can basically throw anything that you have on hand, fruit-wise or nut-wise, into it, and it tastes so good. I use cocoa powder, chocolate chips, some chia seeds, of course, maple syrup to sweeten, nut milk, and then at the end, before I eat it in the morning, I chop my banana and put it on the top. If you don't have chia seeds, I will link some down below from Amazon that are super inexpensive. I typically get mine at Winco Foods. You can get them in the bulk section now, but before that I was getting them at Trader Joe's because they're pretty inexpensive there as well. But this is something you are going to want to make ahead because you want the chia seeds to fully blossom. And typical, you use about 3 tablespoons. I use a full 1/4 cup because I love them to be super thick, but you can play around with the ratios and figure out for yourself if you want a little bit more liquid and a little less chia seeds or vice versa. I like to add a little bit of maple syrup to sweeten it just a tad because I really like sweet breakfasts. These are also a really good post-run snack, and I love that they're cold, but you can also heat these up and they're still super delicious. If you've never had warm chia seed pudding, it's so good. You can just pour the pudding out into a microwavable safe dish once it's set and then just microwave it to warm it up. Super good. And of course you can always add more chocolate chips. I added about 1 tablespoon because I was only making a couple of these, and with the cocoa and the nut milk, they were just so delicious.
Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover.
Once they are all put together, I shake them up really well. Sometimes you will have to stir them to get the chia seeds all mixed together, and then I will put them in my refrigerator. Like I said, I top these with a banana, so they're like a chocolate banana. Super good. I hope you enjoyed today's recipes, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!